So,
I know.
it wouldn't be a digital marketing conference if we didn't mention the thing that's on pretty much everyone's minds. So, the topic of AI. Let's start there. We love talking about artificial intelligence here and augmented reality, but not just in a digital marketing and DTC sense, but also in the ways that it impacts our day-to-day life. So anyone who follows Tash on social media, does anyone, hands in the room, anyone who follows Tash? You'll all be following her by the end of the day, I can guarantee that. You'll know, so we'll be talking now to experts within the field of AI. So it's my pleasure to introduce Rosie Bailey from Nibble.
Hi there, lovely to meet you all. Thank you very much for having me.
And Steve from DigitalGenius.
Hello.
Hey guys. So, the first question that I'd love to tackle is the rise of AI. So you'll see that there's been a lot of talk over the last few years, but really AI has been going on for years and years, if not decades, close to centuries. So I'd love to get both of your opinions on the rise of AI and what you see in the AI trend world. If you'd like to start, Rosie?
Sure. I think the big difference now is in the generative space. And I know it's been very overhyped, so I don't want to kind of over-push it. But I think that the difference between the generative AI and what we saw before, which was more machine learning and really, really smart algorithms, is AI can now be surprising, unexpected, emotional. I'm going to use... And actually, all of those behaviors are very human-like. And I think as a result, you can create a much more emotive connection with your customer using some of these more modern tools. And I think that's where both ethics comes into play, but but also opportunity. So it's moving away from cohorts of customers, people like you behaved like this, would you like this recommendation, to something much more truly personal, which I think if you get it right, you can get real loyalty out of.
100%. Steve?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I think just to expand upon that, I think people are not really aware of how long AI has been around for, and a lot of the models that are around today, something that looked very similar to that existed in like the 80s and 90s and stuff. And what AI has been very good at up until now is working out what you're trying to say to it. Like it can read and then work out what does that mean. But it wasn't until very recently very good at generating answers for you or creating any kind of response to what you'd said. And I think that's been the real, over this last 18 months, 2 years, that's been what we've really seen explode, is that now AI can say things to you in the way you want it to be said. So from an e-commerce perspective, that means you can use a brand's tone of voice, for example. You can input your brand's personality into the things you say to your customers in your marketing or your customer service.
I mean, great answers, completely. And I think one of the things that you both touched on is that it can be beneficial, can't it? AI is seen as this scary new world that we're now approaching. But I'd love for you both, Rosie, start to talk about how AI can be our friend.
I mean, I start from the question that I periodically, when I know I'm coming to one of these events, I ask my team. And I'm like, at the team meeting, I say, so, and I'd love you to answer, who used AI tools last week? Exactly. And actually go back to your team, and if it's not 90% of you, in my team it's often everyone except for me, because I'm the only one who's arrogant enough to think I can write better than GPT. But I think a lot of us work for small businesses, and actually, instead of it being a cost-saving measure, it's a productivity gain. It's not a magic bullet, but if you want to brainstorm ideas, you get 10 ideas quicker than you used to. And it's those sorts of things that I think are transforming the way we work. And because it can be in your tone of voice, it's also much more accessible. And you don't have to be a tech whiz to use Microsoft Copilot or Shopify AI tools or GPT, which is free, you know, so I think that's the place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the word transform is probably the one. I like that you said Rosie go first as well, is because like I won't shut up, so please do shut me up when I need to.
Steve, you're fine. Go for it.
Yeah, I think essentially I'm a massive proponent for automation. I think every government that we have brags about the jobs that they create and the number of those jobs. They never really brag about the quality of those jobs. And I think that when you look at how much our technology has advanced since the Industrial Revolution, our work-life balance hasn't really changed. Like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday or whatever. Like, we're not seeing the benefits as like an everyday person. And I really hope AI is going to be the next kind of wave in that evolution, and we should automate what can be automated. We shouldn't be battling against having self-checkouts in supermarkets, in my opinion. Like, I think it's like we should automate the things that can be automated, and we're seeing forward-thinking brands take that viewpoint as well. We had a Scandinavian electronics company this year sign quite a large contract with us, and they cited their primary reason was improving the mental health of their employees. Because they wanted to automate all the monotonous, repetitive rubbish. They were losing customer service reps all the time, and replacing them was a nightmare. So they wanted to automate the stuff that could be automated so they could focus on the things that makes their job fulfilling and enjoyable and complex and challenging, and not copying and pasting and switching between tabs and stuff. Like, they wanted them doing the things only a human can do. And I think that's what I'm hoping AI will mean for the world.
I also think that we're doing things for computers more than we realize. I mean, a classic example is the QWERTY keyboard that was created so humans could communicate with computers, right? Or dare I say it, the voucher code. Anyone want to type XJ22FGW into the... I mean, like, it's a process invented for computers, and it wouldn't be invented today.
And Rosie, touch on the how you use AI at Nibble and what that does for some of the brands.
So Nibble is an AI chatbot. So we're both in the chat world. Nibble is a very specific chatbot. It appears to get a one-to-one personalized deal with your customer base. And so most of our customers, sorry to be plugging on about voucher codes, most of our customers hate discounting, would prefer to sell full price, but do use promotions where it makes sense, but are scared of having a race to the bottom. And this is a way of getting around it, not doing a blanket promotion, but actually having a one-on-one conversation with your customer to give them a deal if they add 3 items to the cart, or give them a deal if they're a loyal customer, or give them a deal if they want to do a sale preview, but making it much more one-to-one.
And Steve?
DigitalGenius is a customer service automation platform. So we operate across all your written communication channels, and our AI works out what your customer wants to talk to you about. Our AI has a pair of eyes, so it can like do image recognition stuff and work out if the product is faulty in a picture and stuff like that. And then there's generative AI involved as well. And after that, we have a no-code platform that allows you to build like flows as to how you want to answer different customer needs and inquiries. So like whether that's amending their subscriptions, cancelling orders, processing returns. Generally, we automate between 40 and 70% of the conversations you would have with your customers.
I mean, it's crazy that we're in a world that can do that, right? Like, if you think 5-10 years ago, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So finally, I want to touch on, whilst you both do incredible jobs with your respective platforms, friend or foe is the title of this. So I'd love to talk about the challenges that AI could bring briefly before we end our talk.
So the one challenge I see all the time is ethics and decision making. And honestly, I've only been asked by 2 clients ever, how does Nibble decide what promotion to give my customers? And you should all be asking this kind of thing, right? You should say, how does your AI make that decision? And if the person you're talking to can't explain it to you, because it is quite hard to explain sometimes, go and find someone who can, because there are brilliant people out there who break it down. It's not magic. It is actually, there's quite a lot of boring stuff. Anyone done a capture lately? That's training AI. I mean, like, really, honestly, there's quite a lot of boring stuff that goes into it, right? It's not a magic bullet. Ask how it works, and then make your own local rules about how you want to use it. Do you want to use it to, for example, stupid one that we really apply to, Nibble is non-gendered. Nibble isn't it. It happens to be something I care about, for my own personal reasons. If you want to have a robot that's a she or a he, be my guest. But I'm a bit fed up with subservient, helpful female robots. Just saying.
Great point, Rosie. And Steve?
Yes. Well, I think it's scary for a start. Like when I joined DigitalGenius, I didn't realize it could do what it could do, and that can be kind of creepy at times, like seeing what it can work out from images and stuff. I think the biggest worry for me from an e-commerce perspective is that I think content marketing and SEO and any content creation is now going to become a lot more difficult, and it's going to be harder to stand out in the noise. I mean, selfishly, I work in partnerships, so my job is all about human connection. So I don't think that's going anywhere, and I think it's going to become a lot more important. But actually, yeah, I think you're going to be a lot less able to trust the things that you find online very soon. Yeah. We're probably 2 or 3 years away from it being widely available to be able to make a video that you can't distinguish between what's created by AI and what's created by a human being. It can already be done, but it's like whether it's like when it's widely available and free, we're not far away from that.
Well, they will be here if you want to have any doomsday conversations. And thank you so much, Rosie, Steve, for joining us on our AI panel.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.